This is the second in a little series I guess I'm doing where I explain the how and why of music videos I made. This one's from 2017, and it's about, ostensibly it's about John Bolton, but even though he's sort of out of the news, it still all applies right now, sadly. And I guess you'll see why. Here we go. Cool, we got John Bolton walking out at a CPAC conference. Only he looks a little different. He's got a huge head, and he's got some awesome dance moves. And that is not John Bolton, I admit. I faked it using the very lovely and talented, my wife, you guessed it, Casey Foster. Here's her in front of green screen. Green and blue screen. And at the risk of telling you things you already know, you have a green or a blue or any solid color. You don't want it to be anywhere near pink because that's the color of skin, actually. But any color that's not on the subject, you could put them in front of that and delete just that color, and then she'll have what's known as an alpha layer, a clear background, and you can put her in a scene. This is actual footage of a CPAC conference, right? But she doesn't have his head, so you have to go cut out a picture of John Bolton's head or whoever and stick it on there. But you can't just like stick it on like a sticker and it moves with her. She's moving a lot, so you have to keyframe. You have to move that head every frame. You have to move it to a new spot to match what she's doing. Okay, so let's go back to the conference. So yeah, this is actual footage from a CPAC conference. That was difficult. You got to move that. You got to move with. Anytime the camera moves in the actual footage, you have to move the. You have to keyframe what you've got to match it. So yeah, he's the guy who was very responsible for the Iraq War. If you just heard some of the stories of what he did to make that war happen, that would be enough for you to loathe this guy. But you know, 1 million people died as well. So, and the results are they're still being felt over there and here, of course, a little bit. This line, people were asking me about this. The fruitcakes say we lied about it, and they were asking like, what? Why are you bringing in fruitcakes, or what's going on here? And this is just an actual term that he used in an interview. Somebody's like, hey, you killed 1 million people. And he goes, the fruitcakes say that's a problem. Whatever. So that's just his line. Okay, she's nodding along. She's interested. Okay, they're all applauding that he did all that. They're very happy. Problem around. When I was working on this rough draft in the same room as my audio engineer, Roland Weary, who was mixing the song, and he said, I was like, here, check out this rough draft. And I had kind of like, words were kind of all over. I didn't have this bar at the bottom. There was kind of words everywhere, and I was explaining like a lot more about the Iraq War and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, nah, man, just write like, check out these moves, and that should be enough. And I was like, that's a good note. So that's mostly what I did. He was right. Simplify. I'm guilty of. Hey, there's the Patriot. I'm guilty of overcomplicating everything, so it was a really good note. All right, so he's done the conference. He's riled everyone up. Now you might recognize these goons from the last administration, and this is real footage of a press conference during that time, 2017, something like that. And here's John Bolton again. Now, the trick here is you've got this footage, but you have to insert John Bolton. He's not on top. He can't be on top or in front. This podium has to be in front of him. So you have the background footage with this guy. Then you've got Bolton. Then you've got the podium, which, again, when the camera in the main shot isn't moving, is not really a problem. You just sort of cut this out. You can see it's sort of rough here. But if the camera moves, then you have to match the movement of the podium for every frame so that it can go back on top. So now he's talking about Iran. Same thing here. I got this guy who's in front of a map, but in the original footage, if I tried to put this map that I grabbed, it would just cover him and everybody would know that the illusion is gone. So I have to keyframe him. Every frame I have to move the map to make sure that he stays in front. Now this line, as I explain this, that they have bombs that are in range of our bases. That was, I'm gonna give you some footage of Casey as I talk about this part, because that was a meme I grabbed on the internet just to show just how stupid it was to say that Iran was a threat to the U.S. It's obviously the other way around. We've got, I'll go back here. We've got all these bases. I'm going to go even further so this guy can move out of the way. There's all these over here as well. We've got all these bases surrounding them. This is what they're dealing with. And there was this meme of like, look, they've put their country in front of all our bases. How could they? They're a threat. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State in 2026 when I'm recording this. I'm actually recording this the day the second part of the war has started. It's February 28th, 2026. The Secretary of State did the meme out loud. He said they got a lot of weapons that could hit our bases, and that's a problem, so they need to be stopped. Insane. So, it's obvious that the U.S. is a threat, not Iran, and that should be understood. And this line, diplomacy doesn't work right now, and for years they've been having these talks to get Iran to stop its nuclear program or whatever it is. I mean, there's if we were talking about the dignity of nations, the Iran should just say, no, I'm not talking to you about any of that. You have nothing to do with that. The U.S. has no jurisdiction to decide who gets nuclear weapons that way. There are treaties that limits that sort of stuff, and Iran has abided by it 100%. In fact, the one thing that they have been pushing for 2 decades is a non-nuclear weapons-free zone in the Middle East and West Asia. And the only 2 countries that are against that are the U.S. and Israel, because Israel has nukes that it has not declared. And even though the U.S. is legally required to push for that, it's called the Strimington Amendment, you won't hear that from the press. And that gets me to the next part of the video. So he's saying we got to go invade. And the press is saying, this is an important line. The press is saying, you need to help me sell this thing, because that's their job. That's the press's job in the mainstream, is to sell us this war any way they can. But he's going, you've given me nothing to work with here. I got no evidence. And he just laughs. So he's just going to provide us with a few distractions. The press is laughing, they love it. I think you should trust me. And he goes, okay, fine. Mm-hmm. Okay, take these notes down. Yep, he's going to take it down. Just pick your teeth a little bit. Great. So he's done that. He's announced we're going to war. And he'll go take care of it. Kind of tough to find the back of a guy's head on the internet. That took a little work to get that head. It's obviously not John Bolton's head. Obviously, I guess. Not the obvious, but. So these trails, I sort of got by mistake. One layer of video was off by a frame or 2 underneath, and it looked cool, so I just sort of added to it. He's dancing on some bomb sites here, having a great time, thinking he's really great. Dancing on an Iraqi funeral, at a mass funeral in Iraq. He's dancing at an American soldier's funeral, gyrating in front of a widow of a fallen American soldier. Just thinking this is great. Then you've got the plane that he summoned, the Shadow, uploading everything, and the video is done. So obviously, we
All right.
in the States have a duty to push back on this any way we can. There is an emergency protest today. There's going to be a ton of protests, I'm sure, because this thing's not going to be a one and done. Doesn't seem like
Okay,
that.
dance a little bit now.
And we can do a lot of different things to fight it. And please do. Please do. All right, bye.